Lifetime really wasted our time. They really wasted 6 months of our life. Lifetime wasted a half of a year of y'all's life. Okay? And they're not going to do it again. What they not going to do. They better come correct next season. They already got another season coming out. They better come correct. Lifetime, I'm speaking to you. Y'all better come correct. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brenda Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl Brenda Yvonne here at my channel. We do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. This video, y'all, we are talking Married at First Sight, season 16. I think it's episode like 24, reunion part 1, down to the Lifetime, y'all. So those who are new to my channel, not familiar with it, okay, I do not review the whole seasons of Married at First Sight because it's too much. First of all, the episodes is too long. I ain't got time for that on a Wednesday night. I particularly like to review, shows on the weekends preferably. So anyway, last season was like the first season I watched, the San Diego season. I really enjoyed it, especially because I live in California, so I could kind of relate. So I reviewed the reunion episodes. This season, I was like, oh, maybe I should review the whole show. So glad I didn't, because it was giving nothing. The reunion was giving nothing. I almost didn't even do this video, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about it, y'all. Before we get into it though, please do not forget to hit the thumbs up button if you are new to my channel. Also subscribe if you enjoy the content. I also do other reviews. You can check those out. Share, not subscribe, and comment what y'all thought about the reunion, because to me, it was a bit of a snooze fest, but that's because the whole season was a snooze fest. It looked like part 2 might give a little bit more than part 1, but I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So basically, Kevin Frazer was the host. Let's talk about the looks first before we get into anything else. So I thought everybody looked great. Kirsten and that yellow, girl, you were eating it. Yes, that looked good. Gina looked good in that red and the diamond. Her shoes were cute. Dom's dress was cute. My eye makeup was a little heavy, but she was cute. Jasmine looked very good and regal. I kind of wish Jasmine would have did something a little different with her hair, but she still looked good in her blue. She was pretty. Chris looked nice. I didn't mind Shaq and his gold. Clint looked good. Mac looked good. His hair was all nice. Airris looked a little basic to me. Was it just me? And Clint looked good as well. He had his swag. So anyway, Kevin asked, how was it getting all this attention and social media, people coming at you for your relationship? Everybody's like, yeah, they wasn't used to that. Nicole's like, okay, now I see how that feels. Dom says she got a lot of bad responses. People were not pleased with Dom. We were not pleased with Dom. We were not. And she said she also got a lot of weird DMs. People wanted to see her boobs and stuff. All right. Jasmine said she got, people trying to hook her with Gil. They said that her and Gil would be a perfect match. I thought that was funny because Dom thought that was going to be her man, and Gil was not checking for Dom. Dom said her and Gil had become good friends, and he's cool. Yeah. Anyway, girl, he wasn't checking for you. So then they talked about Mac. Mac moved to Detroit. He got a house, started a new job and all that. So Kevin's like, well, don't that confirm what Dom was saying, that you possibly will move back to Michigan, that you was really settled here? And then he was like, yeah, well, I guess it does. Okay. And so then they talk about Dom having a dog now, and they show clips about how, Max shaded Dom for having a dog. And so he apologized to her. Anyway, they were trying to make it a moment, but it really was not a moment at all. Then I believe they talked about the whole slender comment that Clint made at the honeymoon, and how Nicole was ready to pop up and get it started over that. And they showed a clip of Clint describing what he wanted to the experts, and Kevin's like, ain't that basically Gina's build? And he was like, yeah, like I spent 40 minutes apologizing that day. And he did. And let's talk about why he made the comment, because she called him a ginger. And then, Kevin, you gonna skate around that whole issue the whole night. I wasn't pleased with that, Kevin. I was not pleased with that. You should have got into Gina's behind. I don't like the fact that Clint had to take all the brunt of why the situation at work. And I feel like Gina didn't take enough accountability or responsibility. Anyway. Then they talked about the whole Airris's cousin Fallon that don't nobody like. And, hey Fallon. So, And the comments she was making and calling Jasmine fake and all that. And Jasmine's thing is like, at the end of the day, like, you should, they played all the clips and she was like, at the end of the day, like, I was your wife, you should have defended me. And so Airris was like, yeah, I agree. And so everybody's like, yeah, that was, you guys are a couple now. Like, I get it, that's family, but you should have defended your wife. And then Mac was like, oh, well, I could see, Airris's thing because, you're in the middle of family and your wife. And so Jasmine shut him all the way down and was like, it doesn't matter. We're newlyweds. We just got married. Like, at the end of the day, I'm his wife. He should have defended me. And then he's like, no, I'm not saying what Airris did right. She's like, okay, then you need to just pipe down and say he should have defended me. I was like, yes, Jasmine, you better get into it. So she basically shut him all the way down. Okay. Then Kevin starts talking to the individual couple. So he talked to Airris and Jasmine first, I believe. We might got a little out of order over here, but don't be mad at it. Just follow along. So they talked to Jasmine and Airris first. And so Kevin is like, okay, what really happened? Because, you said you want this in a woman. He wanted Serena Williams, but like thick as Serena, somewhere in between Serena and Zendaya. Zendaya too skinny, somewhere in between there. That's what he told experts he wanted. Jasmine fits that bill. She ain't too skinny, but she ain't too thick. Closer to the skinnier side. Fine. So Kevin is like, okay, so what was it? Like, what was the issue? Like, he's like, I don't really get it. Like, you both are good looking people, like, what's the issue? And so Airris talks about, they discussed what it was, the honeymoon night, the first night or whatever, and he don't want to say it on camera because, out of respect for Jasmine and her family and everybody else. And I believe he mentioned this on one of the after shows, and I'm like, what's the tea? Like, it's got my mind wondering. And then Jasmine didn't even say what it was, so I'm like, was it an issue with her? Like, what are we missing here? Did she have bad breath? Like, was she stanky? Like, what was it? I'm not insinuating anything about Jasmine. She's a wonderful, beautiful person. I'm just like, what is the tea? Y'all let me know what y'all think the tea was in the comments, though. Because we know our minds are just about to wander over here at the Brandy Vaughn channel. So, anyway, they wasn't really saying what it was. So Kevin is just getting to the ins and outs of their relationship and how they just, couldn't move past that whole thing and how Jasmine had to deal with that and how it made her feel. And she said, like, once they did get in that friend zone, they became, they really became friends and tried to work on things. But she also feels like Airris didn't really work on anything and try hard enough. Kevin brought out I believe it was Jasmine's friend or cousin. I think it was her friend, Adrian. So Adrian came through in her red. Come through, Adrian. And so Adrian also didn't like the whole Fallon situation. She's like, we come on the show. We see you come on the show. We may not agree with the process, whatever. But, we want to see it work out. We want to see you be happy. And then for your cousin to be over there saying these comments is not cool. Airris gonna have the nerve to try to defend his cousin. Talking about, she didn't call her fake and all that. But she did. They played the clip. Didn't they play the clip where she called her fake? Am I missing something? Did I have it right? That's basically, even if she didn't use the word fake, basically what she said. Remember Fallon was saying Jasmine had all the pageant answers. She ain't buying it. She called her fake. I believe she used the word fake. So anyway, the cousin was like, I just don't think that was right. That was not okay. And she said she was coming out there about to get on Airris's head, but she cool now. She even gave him a hug at the end. Kevin asked for him a hug. I said, I know you did, Kevin. But, she cool with Airris now. Of course, she wanted better for Jasmine. They talked about all those sexual stupid comments that Airris would make and how there's a never before seen clip of Airris saying that he would want to have a threesome 20 years down the line in his marriage, like not right now, but in the future, he feel like, not a threesome, an open marriage, I'm sorry, he want to have an open marriage, he feel like that would be the way to go. Then, he tried to, Kevin tried to help him clean it up on her end, and he was like, oh, we have been filming for hours and hours, and I was tired of them asking me stuff, so I just was saying anything just to get through it and they want something, so I'm just going to give them something. And so Kevin's like, okay, so for the record, you don't want to open a relationship. He's like, no, I don't want that. I call cap. I believe if Airris found the right woman that said she wanted an open relationship, he would be down for it. I don't believe that. I believe he said what he meant. He meant what he said. Then they show some other clips of him, being all sexual on the honeymoon and all that. And so Adrian says she feels like, Jasmine is Megan Thee Stallion behind closed doors, but on TV, she was not about to give all that. Yeah, because she respects herself and cares about herself and her image. She's a beauty queen. I'm not saying women who give more, are giving Megan Thee Stallion all on the TV screen and stuff are bad or anything like that. If that's your vibe and that's who you are, I ain't mad at you. I like a little sexy photo too, okay? Check out my Instagram at BrandyD24, but I also like classy days too, okay? There's, it's a fine line. So, she is mentoring these young girls, doing the cheerleading. She's also a pageant girl. So, like Adrian said, she's gonna care about that image and what she's presenting, especially if she's mentoring these young girls. So that's why she ain't about to be doing all that and talking like that on camera. Behind closed doors, you can get it all day, is basically what she was saying, okay? And I ain't mad at that. So, Kevin, I think Adrian left. Kevin asked them, what are they doing now? Airris said he really learned a lot from Jasmine's lifestyle, how she really gives back to the community. So he said, he's tired of going to work, coming home like a robot every day. So he started volunteering, doing the feeding the homeless and all that. Jasmine said she's still doing her cheerleading thing and she wants to open up a spa. He asked about dating and all that. Airris is dating. Jasmine's still dating the friend boy. They are in a relationship now. Somebody she knew from her past that DM'd her. So Kevin was like, I thought it was kind of weird. Like, he didn't want to be seen on camera. Like, I was like, girl, that's a red flag. I don't see it. So she was like, no, that was my decision. I didn't want him on camera. And so Kevin was like, oh, okay, girl. And I'm like, okay. I mean, teach his own, right? I hope that was the case, right? Kevin wished him the best. He wished they would worked out. Okay, then I think then next we had all the girls come out, and so, without the guys, and so they were saying, like, did they think they would have all this friendship? And they were saying Nicole was like the mama bear. They treat her like the mama. I don't know why they give Nicole so much. They give her way too much. She be asking all the questions. She be trying to get everybody to get back together because she want to see them happy. All this stuff. I'm like, y'all giving Nicole way too much. She could be the mama bear for me. No, ma'am. But you know what? Nicole does seem like a cool person, though, aside from the other stuff. So, they were talking about, the moment when Jasmine really broke down because the way Airris was treating her and how everybody rallied around her and how, they wanted to come for Airris's head because of, the way he was and everything. Jasmine said it definitely was hard to go through everything she went through. And I think she even cried in that moment. I think it was easier for her to talk a little bit more about it without Airris being there. And so that's why Kevin asked her. And so, side note, y'all, Kevin was shady and messy in this reunion, wasn't he? I mean, that was what was keeping it a little entertaining, was his little side remarks and facial expressions. But anyway, Kevin asked, what kind of man does Gina need? Then Nicole and everybody gonna say, oh, she needs somebody with swag, somebody rugged, somebody that can handle her. Wasn't that Clint? Am I tripping? But wasn't that Clint? Anyway, yeah, I don't see it. Anyway, Jasmine, they hope her relationship with this new guy work out. And then for Kirsten, they're like Shaquille. I think Nicole said it. And so Nicole and everybody just still hoping Kirsten and Shaquille will get back together. We gonna see, y'all. Anyway, then Kirsten and Nicole came out. It was really not giving anything. Kevin did say that he didn't see it for them at the beginning. And the little prediction special they do before the season starts, which I believe I did watch. Kevin, he didn't see it for Nicole and Chris. He was like, it could work a long time, but Nicole gonna drive that man crazy. And she will. Just because we ain't seen it yet, don't mean it ain't gonna happen. She will eventually, okay? Eventually Chris will be tied, okay? So, Kevin was like, when I seen that dog situation, that's when I really changed my mind. You really stepped it up. And they played the clips from that and her talking to the producers, and Chris showed he knows it was overly dramatic, but he didn't know the dog's gonna have to be separated and all that, and Nicole stepping up and all that. I felt like Chris was doing too much and not really being the man in that situation, but that was just my opinion, and I'm glad Nicole stepped it up for him. Great. He asked, did you feel like Chris, you said that, Chris has been known not to speak up for himself. Do you feel like that has been an issue, or he does? And she said everybody else was saying it, but really it's not an issue. And sometimes he don't speak up because he ain't got nothing else to say. I don't know. Kevin was like, have you had any of those? Because, you was blowing up about the bridal photos and all this stuff. So have you had any more of them kind of episodes, lately? He was trying to tread lightly. Kevin was trying to tread lightly with Nicole. And so she was like, oh yeah, like, what day you talking about? She was like, basically, she had more time. She just got to get the energy out and then she moved forward. They also show some never before scenes of them having their cute moments and all that. Kevin asked him about children. Kirsten wants children. Nicole wasn't sure. They're not ready right now, but they do want to, revisit the issue in the future. I don't know. That might be the make or break for them, y'all. What do y'all think? Because I don't think Nicole wants to have kids. I really don't think she wants to have kids. Actually, I would prefer she didn't have kids. Just the way she is. I think she has some more work she needs to do before she has kids. Because those outbursts, you can't be doing those with kids. You cannot. That's not going to work. So anyway, she got to get some like emotional regulation. I'm not saying I'm a parent or I know, how people need to conduct themselves with them kids. I'm just saying them emotional outbursts is not going to cut it with them kids. All I'm saying. Anyway, they also talked about, Nicole's dad, and Nicole's dad really likes Chris to the point where like Nicole's like, dang, like what about me? And so then they called the daddy. I'm like, why are we calling the dad? And so, anyway, the dad was saying, how much he really likes Chris. And so they played the whole BDE energy clip. And Kevin was like, so do you feel like Chris got the big D energy now? He was like, oh, yeah, he definitely does. He's a calm, nice guy. And it's hard. And this, he's like, he likes the process now because look what happened. And it's hard in this world to find, a nice, calm guy. Stable guy and all that. So he happy for Nicole. Nicole's dad was very much giving. I'm happy to have Nicole taken off my hands by Chris. That's what he was giving. I'm sorry. But yeah, he was good with Chris and Nicole, and now they got a big old mass family, he said. Cool. All right. Chris and Nicole, they're going to just continue to, live their life, be happy. Kevin's happy for them. Great. We're going to move on from them. Then we did Clint and Gina, I believe. So Clint and Gina came out. Clint and Gina, let me say, look good together. They look great together. Like, the fact that they couldn't work out, it just makes no sense. Even Kevin was like mind blown. He said Nashville got him confused. Nashville was a very confusing season. Like, it was like everybody wanted to like each other, but they don't really like each other. It's very much nice, nasty. Maybe that's because they're in the South. I don't know. But anyway, do y'all consider Nashville the South or the Midwest? Let me know, because I'm in the West Coast. So I don't know. But anyway, also, side note, I've never been to Nashville, so I would love to go. So y'all let me know what's good in Nashville. And if you're from Nashville, drop it in the comments. So Clint and Gina, they just couldn't work past some of their issues. They never got that spark, but they did build a deep friendship. They say even since filming, their friendship has gone deeper. They talked about the hardships they went through on the Jamaica trip, how they never got their luggage. They said the one thing they could do was make some lemonade out of some lemons, which also showed like that strength in a couple, right? And that's what Kevin was saying. They said they really tried to do all the exercises that the experts told them to do, but they just couldn't get that spark. I feel like y'all didn't try that hard. First of all, is y'all trying to make it seem. Kevin asked Gina, did you think, Clint could have wooed you more and all that? And so I think she said she thinks that he could have tried harder. But like, what else could Clint have done? Like, what else could Clint have done? Like, I don't get it. But they enjoyed all the good times they had together and all that. And they talked about the whole Slender comment again, a little bit, touched on that briefly. And then they talked about Gina like working so much, and does Clint feel like Gina could have gave more, did more? And he says like, yeah, he feels that way. And do you still feel like she was there just to promote her salon? He said initially he did, but now he doesn't think so. I think he still feels that way, based on his answer. And he said that he gets it, like it's all about work with her, building the business. Like he totally gets it. He wanted to know what's the next 10, 50 years like, but she is just business. That's just who she is. And some people are like that, and they really can't figure out their life outside of that. I understand that. Gina also said like she went through a lot with filming, so it wasn't so much the business, it was like all these issues that happened during the filming. Like she lost out on $100,000 due to like a poor guidance from a contractor. And then, you know, they have the person who quit, who we saw on camera. So she said filming and doing the process was actually like a break from everything she was dealing with trying to build her business, right? So then we had, you know, Kevin asking him, okay, like, you know, you guys just look so great together. It seems like it could really work. Like, what's really good? Like, what's the chances y'all getting back together, right? So anyway, they were like, I don't know, maybe it could happen. I don't know, I guess. Maybe it could happen. Maybe it could work. I don't know. I guess. And I was like, y'all ain't finna get back together. Stop playing with us. Please stop. Anyway, then, you know, they asked, you know, what are you doing now? What are you up to now? Clint is dating. He's in a, sound like he's been dating someone for several months. He got enough swag for her, and they briefly touched on the ginger thing, because they showed the clip when he went on the date, and then they skated over it. Why we cannot bring it up, this girl calling him a ginger in a derogatory way. Okay, why we not bringing that up? But anyway, it's fine. So Gina and Clint, you know, we wished them the best. And so they also, before I get off of them, they also talked about how everybody was like, you know, you guys should just come on and do it, and maybe have some drinks and do it. And they talked about it, thought about it, but they never did it. But they didn't give up on the process because they saw Dom and Mac do it, and they didn't want to miss out on something. So that's why they didn't give up. I feel like y'all didn't really try, but y'all also didn't want to look like quitters. I think they agreed not to be quitters together. They seen how Mac and Dom looked, so they were like, let's at least make it to the end and tolerate each other. That's what they were very much giving, is tolerate each other. And I don't understand what Gina's issue is, because Clint looked like a good man, Savannah. Like, what is the issue when we're missing something? I get if I think she thinks that's not her vibe. Honestly, I think Gina wants, like, somebody, she don't want her a black man. She want her somebody a little bit more urban, okay, for lack of better words, okay? Not necessarily gotta be black, but she just want, you know, a little something else. So, but I'm like, girl, anyway, I guess Gina, bye, girl. So now let's get down to Shaq and Kirsten, which was like the main event of this reunion, because it was boring. It was giving snooze fest. They wasted our whole time. Y'all know that this show came back on in January, and we haven't got this reunion till June 21st, on the first day of summer of 2023. That is 6 months of boredom we been put through. And then you're going to put us through 2 hours, or however long that reunion was, of more boredom. Lifetime really wasted our time. They really wasted 6 months of our life. Lifetime wasted a half of a year of y'all's life. Okay? And they're not going to do it again. What they not going to do. They better come correct next season. They already got another season coming out. They better come correct. Lifetime, I'm speaking to you. Y'all better come correct. Anyway, let's get to Shaq and Kirsten, because this was just a mess. It didn't make no sense. So Kevin is like, you know, just a couple we thought was going to make it, but they didn't really make it. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, we didn't see it for them after a while, Kevin. I don't know what you're talking about. So, Kirsten, you know, she said she felt blindsided by, well, first let's talk about their communication, because that was the first topic. You know, how they're cordial now. It took baby steps to get there. Be like, hey, you know, Merry Christmas to you too. You know, you gotta give y'all ex that holiday, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas. Now, me, I typically don't give the text. I receive the text. Okay. No, anyway. So Kirsten was like, well, hold up, because when your granny died, I did, you know, check on you, give my condolences and all that. So they're like, yeah, we working on it. We trying to, you know, be more cordial. Kirsten says she is working. She living her best life. She going to Hawaii. She going on trips. Shaq said he get back and canceling. Okay. So Shaq shared that, you know, it just felt like so much pressure when filming. He moves to Austin, Texas, because he got a new job. He's still doing his PhD program, because he wants to finish the program. I hope he does finish, because that's going to be so great to get his PhD. Kudos to him for that. He said it was just a lot of pressure with filming. He never knew if he was doing everything right, and he put a lot of pressure on himself, even to the point where Kristen was like, Shaq, relax. Like, you don't got to put all this pressure on yourself, like, just relax. And he was just Not sure if he was ever doing the right thing. He felt like he couldn't be whatever Kristen wanted him to be. Kristen felt like she was, being what she was supposed to be as a wife. She was being supportive. She was cooking and cleaning. She was making sure he had, what he needed for work. She felt like she was really pouring into the marriage, so she didn't really understand. You know what I think it is? That initial, thing where she said she wasn't attracted to him in the beginning, I think he never got past that internally. I think whatever issues he already came into the marriage with, because he came in kind of fragile already and very unsure of himself. He's very much giving, I don't know who I am or what I want to be. And then when she said she wasn't physically attracted to him, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back for him. And he could never pick up the pieces. He never felt like he was good enough. Any ounce of confidence he had shattered him. Now, I'm not saying she shattered his confidence or it was her fault in any way. She definitely played her part in the situation, but I think he already was not whole, so that didn't help. You know what I mean? So, anyway, they went on to talk about, how they both just couldn't get on the same page. When she thought it was going good, he thought it was going bad. They showed the clips and they felt like they were working on things individually, but they weren't working on things together. And their communication was a big issue. And they wish they really worked on their communication. And so Kevin talked about how, things did shift. They got more sexual in the strawberries and all that. But then, Shaq started to pull away after that shift. And so, Shaq said he didn't know he was going to say no. He really wrestled with that situation. Everybody wanted them to say yes. He thought it would for sure be yes. But for him, he didn't know. And he said the reason why. So Kevin is like, well, why did you say no? What is going on? He's like, I'm getting to it. He was like, I spoke to a prophet in my PhD program. And that's where I said no. So Kevin, he let some time pass, and then he revisited that, right? And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to make light of it, but when you said something about the prophet, I'm not understanding what that got to do with you saying no. And then he was like, oh no, he's like, I didn't say the prophet made me say no. He said that the prophet was a pastor in his PhD program that said you got some hard decisions to make, and it might be a selfish decision, but you got to, choose yourself. And that's kind of what brought him to the no, but he didn't say no until he got to the couch and sat down and all that. He also felt like, he could not meet all of Kristen's expectations. He was like, he never knew, even when they would be doing the exercises, if he was doing things right or wrong. He didn't feel, basically he felt insecure. He didn't know if he could be everything she wanted him to be. And she was like, okay, but let's make that clear. I never said those things about you. I never said you weren't good enough. Because he said ultimately he just felt like he was not good enough for Kristen. And she was like, but I never put that on you. I actually can understand what Shaq was going through to an extent. And that's definitely why it's good that he's in counseling. He definitely needs to work on himself. Because if you're not secure in yourself, you cannot be secure with somebody else. Okay, and I definitely learned that from my last situation. So that's why I could kind of relate to where he was coming from. Kristen said, well, let me backtrack. Shaq said he also, learned a lot about, what he could have been done better. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe, I did some of that, said some of that. I can't imagine how she felt and reacted. And Kristen also took some accountability, saying that, she definitely could have been more open. She definitely could let her guard down sooner and poured more into the relationship and all that. So Kevin was like, okay, so what was the problem? I don't get it. He's like, well, ultimately, I just needed more support. I just felt like, expectations weren't met. Someone, wife that really wanted to be there and all that. And I'm just like, he mentioned needing more support twice in this conversation. And I'm like, how much more support could Kristen have given based on what we saw? Are we missing something? How much more support could she have given? It's just getting very whiny at this point for me, Shaq, and I can't take it. I'm sorry. I can't take it. I also very much relate to Kristen also. So I was just like, I'm over it, Shaq. I don't know how much more support you needed. She said she was giving all the support she could give. Okay. So, Kristen also was like, she was irritated by him crying at the thing, at the decision day. And she was like, yeah, I did. Because Kevin was like, yeah, you want to strangle him. Kevin was instigating, wasn't he? And she's like, yeah, I definitely felt like strangling him. She's like, he lucky, it was a different day. Because I was like, why are you crying? Honey, why are you crying? So, yeah, she didn't see, like, why, he was still upset. And so she also made a good point of saying that she felt like when Shaq was not interested in something, he did not put effort into it. And she felt like and so Kevin was like, well, do you feel like you were that one of those things? And she said, I definitely felt like one of those things. And so Shaq was like, no, that was not it. Like, Kristen wanted me to be me and Kristen. Like, forget work, forget everything else. Just me and Kristen. She wanted to keep talking, have all these deep talks. So I'm like, when you're married, ain't it just the two of y'all against the world? Like, ain't that what it is? And he was like, we were talking, we were doing all this. She just wanted to be her, and I just needed more support. Again, they on two different pages, y'all. They are on two different pages. And so Shaq also was like saying, after he made his decision, he was saying, oh, I wish we could have still been married and had more time to work this out. She was like, well, then why'd you say no? And then she was like, you know what? Ultimately, he didn't want to be married. And so, because even Kevin was like, well, what happened? Like, why didn't you just say yes and you could have more time? And he was like, well, I didn't feel like, we were on the same page, and she was supporting me. I didn't feel like we were soulmates. Kevin was like, most time you are not going to marry your soulmate. Like, you're going to grow in love with somebody, but you're not going to marry your soulmate. And that's true. Like, it'll be nice, but you're not going to always marry your soulmate. And your soulmate might not be your, like, husband or wife or life partner. You might have a friend that's more of a soulmate, or a family member. You know what I mean? It could be different ways. I don't know. It depends on what your view of soulmate is. I don't know fully what my view is yet. So I'm just saying. So then they're like, no, then, Kristen's basically like, you didn't want to get married. You didn't want to be married. And Shaq's like, no, I didn't want to be married. I just didn't, I just didn't know. I just didn't feel like it was right and all this stuff. So then, it ultimately led to the end of the episode where Kevin's asking Shaq, like, do you regret your decision? Because he basically was saying, like, I just didn't feel like I could be what Kristen needed me to be, or be the type of man she wanted me to be, or I wasn't good enough for her, all that, right? And so then, they're talking about they needed more time. So Kevin was like, well, do you feel like you made the right decision? Do you regret the decision you made? And that's where they cut it off. Now, I thought Shaq and Kirsten was going to be saved for part 2 completely, but no, they gave us a lot of Shaq and Kirsten, and then we going to get, if he regrets it or not, are they going to spin the block? Don't spin the block on him, Kirsten. Do not spin the block on him, girl. Kirsten, however you like to say your name, girl. Don't spin the block. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought of part 1 of this Married at First Sight reunion that was tied, very tied. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to y'all again about Married at First Sight next week. Bye.